GTV breakfast. It's 7:17. I'm still thinking about the child who put beans into his or her ear, and the beans started sprouting. You know, oh, children. Yeah. If you want to catch a repeat of that conversation on hearing loss, it's coming up tonight at 11:30 p.m. But you can just go to Facebook or YouTube and look for GTV Ghana or Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. The segment is the health check. My guests are both lawyers. And to my far left is Anokye Frimpong. He's a lawyer and a historian. And sitting to his right is Dr. Eric Oduro, Science Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Kafui.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know it's a big week for lawyers. You have your conference, your annual conference, is that correct?
That's correct.
It's happening in Ho.
Yeah.
Mr. Frimpong, I'm really happy that you're here. Because you came from Ho just to come on this segment.
Yes.
And you will return to Ho again.
Yes, immediately after the program.
You are great. Mm-hmm. In the olden days, I would have organized some spiritual flight for you, so that you don't come by road. You just fly.
but there's a flight to Ho now. They have Ho airport.
There is a flight to Ho. Yes.
There's a flight to Ho.
Indeed. Hope you're all well. Hope the conference is going on well.
Democracy.
Before we go into the headlines, you know how we
let me get you the theme.
Give me the theme.
The theme is Ghana's democracy under the Fourth Republic, gains, challenges, and prospects.
Ghana's democracy
under the Fourth Republic, gains, challenges, and prospects.
Okay.
It's quite bad on our part as lawyers if we're not able to tell you the theme of the annual conference.
Gains, challenges, and prospects. I'm sure
right.
a lot of interesting highlights will come out of that meeting of lawyers and people in the law fraternity. We'll start as usual with our usual what's on your mind. I'm going to start with Mr. Frimpong. What's on your mind this week, the 13th of September 2022?
Yeah, I don't think I would have to say much to do with local things. Mm-hmm. The death of Queen Elizabeth is something that affects the entire world and the Commonwealth in particular, and Ghana is no exception. So therefore I believe that there should be something small for all of us. Queen Elizabeth became Queen of England, I would say, by some accidental means, because her uncle, who was George VIII, her uncle, who was Edward, should have been the king, Edward VI, very good, Edward VI. And after a period of 11 months, he decided to abdicate. His reason being that his wife, who was called Wallis, was somebody who was an American, 3 times divorcee, not having royal blood, and the British would not accept that. And so for the love of his wife, he left the crown, and that was what made George VI, Queen Elizabeth's father, who was younger brother to Edward, to become the king. And that was what enabled Queen Elizabeth also to follow up. Otherwise it wouldn't have gone to her. Now, talking about the Queen, her relationship with Ghana. You know, Ghana had her independence, as we all know, 1957. She couldn't come. I mean, she couldn't be present. And it was a duchess who represented her. Now, in 1961, a year after we had declared a republic and had basically nothing to do with the crown, she rather decided to visit Ghana. And that was for a very big political reason. At that time, Nkrumah was helping other African countries to gain their independence and was also helping for the creation of a united Africa. Now, the Western countries feared that Nkrumah, being a socialist, would pull the entire continent to the Eastern Bloc to support the USSR. So the Queen had to come here in order to talk to President Nkrumah, and it worked very well. Subsequently, Nkrumah became one of her most trusted advisors, and that strengthened the Commonwealth because in 1961, the public dance she had with Kwame Nkrumah became the first official dance between the Queen and any black person. So that is history for Ghana. The next thing we'll talk about with reference to the Queen was that she visited Ghana again in 1999. And this one too was very significant for the constitutional development of the country. Flight Lieutenant Rawlins was president from 1992 to 96 and then won the 96 election and was to carry on to the year 2000. From 1996 to the year 1999, President Rawlins never made any statement publicly about the fact that constitutionally he was supposed to retire after the year 2000 election. Never. And this then was a big fear for all African countries because that is what all dictators do. Before you realize there has been an election, and as it happened in Ivory Coast, the constitutional mandate had been extended. And the Queen had to come in and in a public tell Flight Lieutenant Rawlins in the face that the year 2000, you are living the scene. And I also expect, just as the whole world does, that you are going to ensure a credible election. It was only after this that the president began talking about his constitutional mandate. And I think it was very good for this country. Maybe the president was confused. Maybe the NDC was thinking about something. The opposition was very weak. Everybody knew that. So for us, it was very good as a mother intervening at a time when the country was in a somewhat jittery situation. Lastly, I will say that her son, Charles, has been Charles the Third. Ghanaians will need to know that there was a Charles the First who was enthroned in 1625. In 1649, he was beheaded because he felt that he had kings are divinely appointed by God, and therefore they could not be subject to the control of Parliament. And the British people under Oliver Cromwell would not accept that, fought him, defeated him, tried him, convicted him, and executed him. At that moment, the monarchy was abolished until 1660, when his son Charles II, who was then King of Scotland, added the English throne to it, and then the monarchy was restored. That is why today we have Charles III. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that walk into not just Ghanaian but British history from our historian and lawyer, Yao Anokye Frimpong, telling us what is on his mind. Dr. Eric Oduro, what's on your mind this morning?
Good. Mine, I'll start from local.
Okay.
I want to congratulate my friend, Professor Mauto.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, Professor Mauto,
yes,
over the weekend was announced as the incoming Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies.
And he used to be your co-panelist.
Yeah, he used to be my co-panelist and a former student of UPSC. He tells me that the institution is futuristic, the institution believes in the young, the institution has a very good succession plan, and they want us to carry on with the way we have done things. So congratulations to my brother.
Does that mean he's number 2 in the hierarchy?
He's number 2 in the hierarchy. That's right. Pro VC, you assist the VC in executing his mandate, and he has the potential of escalating to become the Vice Chancellor. What it then means is that the history of the institution can be protected because you have the alumni leading the charge, and we know what UPSC stands for. And he was a student there, he chatted there, he's taught there, he's ridden through the ranks, and he's now a Pro VC. And this is something that we should all do as institutions. Important. It means the university is a sustainable university that looks into the future, because they don't have an aging faculty. Now they have a young faculty, and any university that has a young faculty has a future. So congratulations, my brother. Professor. That's right. The other one is about the Queen's death. I think the Queen's death tells us the entire history of the British people. In addition to that, I think the Queen herself is an embodiment of history. from the First World War, Second World War, non-aligned movement, our independence, our Republican status, and just as my colleague mentioned, her statement, the 1999 statement, went ahead to deepen our democracy. One profound statement she made weeks or months before she died was the fact that she wants King Charles's wife to be called the Queen's consort. It's very important. All others, the wives of the Queen or the wife of the king will be called princess. But she said, look, this lady must be called the Queen's consort. It's very important. And it tells you that they believe in history and they want the history to run as it is. The other issue that I want to also raise is the fact that for a very long time, we may not have a queen because we have King Charles, and Charles will be there for some time, and then the next person, we may never know whether it's a queen or a king, but we are likely to have another king
because of his son.
Because of his son. So it
unless
seems
he also abdicates, something happens.
That's right. So it seems to me that this queen has really helped the system, and we say that we thank her for everything that she's done. But history is being written there, and I want to believe that as Ghanaians, we'll learn something from it, and we don't throw away our culture. We document it so that when we have opportunities like this, we'll be able to tell the story. Because her death has resurrected the history of that country, and the way they tell the history, children learn and they know where they're coming from and where they are going. And I believe that Ghana, we should also have that opportunity.
Thank you so much. The day that she was hospitalized and we had reports that family members were going to Scotland to go and be by her side, there was a video that came out, and I think it was titled Operation London Bridge. Right. And then you have all the steps that have already been put in place for a succession. Everything has been thought of, even to the point of the programming on national television in the UK, right. that all presenters would have like a dark clothing on standby. So the moment the announcement comes, they all change into their dark clothing. They will remove all entertainment programs. No comedy shows will be on while the woman they are preparing to bury the queen. Even the currency is going to change. They're going to start bringing into the system currencies with the
even
new
the
kings.
anthem.
Yes, the anthem goes to God Save Our King. You know, and it's just the level of planning. Now you can understand why colonization was possible with the level of planning that people go into to make things happen. You know, and the plan was there. There was no doubt about what was going to happen when this announcement was going to happen. So it's amazing, and we'll be following this. Of course, the funeral is on the 19th of September, so 6 days time. I'll run through the headlines shortly after I hear from Jay Gabra, who is nowhere near London Bridge. He's actually at 37, and he has a report for us, keeping an eye on issues at 37 right here in the Greater Accra region. Jay, good morning. What can you report this morning as you're keeping an eye on issues in the capital?
Thank you so much, Kafui. So good morning and welcome to Keep an Eye, where the location is at 37 Hospital. Now, months ago, we began our Fix the Traffic Lights campaign on the hashtag GTV Breakfast, and then we put it on the back burner for a bit. We called our regional reporters to also bring in reports about traffic lights which haven't been working for a while. And you didn't even know the reason for most of them. Some of them, they were faulty, and sometimes you ascribe certain reasons to them. You notice a trend of when you go to some traffic lights, they function in a disco manner, and some were completely off with no reason whatsoever given. Now, when we first came here to 37 Hospital to report on the traffic lights, none of them were working. And speaking to some of the workers in the hospital, they didn't know why the situation was as such. So you notice that the island behind me, the main 37 island, that's how I like to call it, the interchange area, that's where the traffic lights were working. But for those heading into the hospital, this side wasn't working at all. So the situation this morning is quite different. The traffic lights have been fixed, but with a little anomaly as well. If you look towards the hospital, you notice that the lights for that side are working. So for those who are entering the hospital, you notice the pedestrian lights are even on at the moment. So it allows, when it becomes green, then pedestrians can cross. Because previously, because the lights were off, crossing at this side was very, very dangerous. So if there's an accident of any kind, once the vehicle hits you, at least you are comforted with the fact that there's a hospital close to you. They can attend to you as swiftly as possible. But that shouldn't be the case. So for those who are coming from 37, who are coming from Opebia, who are coming from all the way from Medina and Legon, for that side, it's also working as well. And there's a policeman here who is also helping direct traffic. So if you get here and then maybe the pedestrians are stuck for a while, then he helps them to cross the road. And I would just like to give some free advice to drivers to get to this side. And they notice that the lights are working and they do when to go to the hospital. Just look at the policeman, he will help you out. Any driving school will tell you that's what you should do. Just pay attention to the policeman. Now this is the Warren side of the traffic light situation which have been fixed, and some of them are still not responding to treatment. Now, if you are heading to Medina and you look to the other side of the road, you notice that that traffic light is completely off. So what happens is the pedestrian light right beside me works. So when it's green for pedestrians to cross, the drivers who are coming don't know it's time for the pedestrians to cross the road. And the pedestrians are thinking, oh, it's time for me to go. So they are crossing, and the drivers don't see any traffic indication whatsoever because the lights are off. And that creates a dangerous situation for pedestrians who are crossing the road. And so we are appealing once again to the authorities in charge to come and fix the traffic lights as soon as possible. So it's like it's up to the driver's discretion to stop for pedestrians to cross. We don't want any situation where the pedestrians are crossing, the drivers don't know they are supposed to stop, and then they run into somebody. And the situation of we don't know who is in charge of the traffic lights, we speak to someone, the body in charge of fixing the traffic lights, and they tell us speak to the highways authority, and the highways will also refer you to the urban road. So it's this topsy-turvy kind of thing. We don't know who exactly is supposed to, but we are still asking those questions, trying to find out who is supposed to traffic light, and hopefully this report will shed some light and know that the situation here is quite deplorable and needs to be fixed as possible. If one side has been fixed, then this side should be done as well to forestall any future troubles. So this has been the report from the 37 hospital. It's still trying to bring back fix the traffic light situation. This is an update concerning the 37 hospital traffic lights. Back to you, Kafui, in the studio.
Many thanks, Jay, for the Keep an Eye report. It's 7:35. You're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui. My guests, Mr. Anokye Frimpong and Dr. Eric Oduro. Sign your messages on 055-556-1034 hashtag GTV Breakfast. Let's go through the headlines. The Finder, Asogli Council Secretary apologizes to Ken Ajipong, and NPA chases 45 OMCs over 68 million CD debt. Ghanaian Times, we will prosecute Aisha Huang and others. The president throws weight behind the Attorney General. Elembele DCE clears air on missing excavators. National Cathedral will be built at all costs, President vows. 8.8 million Ghanaians live in slums, NDPC report. Man convicted for spending 17.812 thousand CDs mistakenly credited to him. Okay. FDA urges researchers to collaborate with regulators, and 11 migrants die in latest Mediterranean accident. President says farmers bear brunt of Bagri Dam spillage, many farms submerged. Continuous voter registration begins end of year. Attorney General must retrieve $2 million paid for Accra SkyTrain, says the minority. Special prosecutor asks customers to resume auction of vehicles. I think I must start with this person who claimed that the money sent to him was a gift from God. So this man wakes up and finds over 17,000 CDs mistakenly credited to him. He's called Felix Kwame Akakpo. He said money was a gift from God. And so the money was transferred to him, and then he withdrew it and could not account for 17,000 CDs. It was taken to court. He admitted that what he did was wrong, and adding that all those who used the money to assist had turned their back on him. So he received the money that didn't belong to him, and then he claims he used the money to help other people, and that it was a gift from God. A lawyer who acted as a friend of the court prayed the court to hand down a non-custodial sentence since this was his first offense. And so the court sentencing him said it considered his admission of the offense, the fact that he was also ready to refund the money and was a first offender. And so he's not going to jail, but he's been fined 1,800 cedis, and or in default serve a 20-day jail term, and he's been asked to find the money. So it is not a gift from God. 17,000 cedis enters your account, and you think hallelujah. I want some details from our lawyers. Dr. What is a friend of the court? First of all, what is
a friend of the court is anybody who assists the court in dispensing justice. So a lawyer is a friend of a court.
Okay.
Registrar can also be a friend of the court. So a friend of a court is anybody who helps the court in administering.
17,000 cedis enters your account, and you say it's a gift from God.
Yes, it's not a gift. My colleague will come in. You see, under banking law and even the law of contract, we call something quasi contract. The fact that the money is credited to your account erroneously does not imply that the money belongs to you. You are under obligation to return or inform the bank that your account has been erroneously credited with a certain amount of money. It is just like a neighbor, you live in the house, somebody comes, the person said you owe the person, you were not in, the person comes making all kinds of noise. Your neighbor didn't want you to be disgraced, so your neighbor just give the person the money. How much does the person will you say is 100 Ghana? Your neighbor pays the money. You come back and your neighbor said, well, when you are away, somebody came making noise. I didn't want the guy to disgrace you, so I paid the money. Then you say that, well, that's me to pay. You understand it? There is a quasi contract, an implied contract between you and the person to refund the money. It's just like paying somebody, giving somebody 200 Ghana, buying something worth 100 Ghana. The person is under obligation to give you a change of 100 Ghana, a balance of 100 Ghana. So this that has happened is called an implied contract or a quasi contract, and he's under obligation to refund the money to the court. So people must know that once the money is credited to you, if it is not yours, you can't take it. But when they take you to court, you will be compelled to refund the money.
Mr. Frimpong.
I said it. The only thing I will add is that in criminal law, anything you appropriate, appropriation means taken away. Anything you take of which you are not the owner,
yes,
makes you a thief. Yeah. Unless it can be proved that where you pick the item, no sensible person would leave anything there. For example, where Ghanaians could refer to as bola, refuse dump.
So if I see 17,000 at a bola,
at a refuse dump, and then you pick it, that one you can justify it. That is where they put everything, and so no reasonable person is supposed to keep money there. On the other hand, if it is the same amount of money had been on the highway or any other place, then you should know that it belongs to someone. Possibly it has gone missing, and you have an obligation to send it to anywhere that an announcement could be made, like the police station.
But the bola money too is for somebody.
What about the person?
It depends on the situation where you pick it.
So, Kaf, you see, Kaf, you need to, bring lawyers on your program to.
Yeah, that's why we have you here.
Because you see, the concept of attempting to steal and stealing on its own is something that needed to be unpacked. Because you take something without the person's permission, it's an attempting to steal.
Yeah.
Once you move an inch or you decide to move out, you are stealing 2 charges. You understand?
Charges keep multiplying.
That's right.
And the mindset. And what we call mens rea
and another
at the bola, your mens rea, your mind is not to go and steal.
No.
But in the case of this man, you see that it landed in his
account.
So it was theft because he knew he should have returned it to
the money. Transfer took the money out.
All
right. The moral of the story is that if you find the money on the bola, I think you can take it. But if it enters your account, please, you may be called a thief.
Yes.
Interesting. Your comments, I'd love to know. Have you ever found any money that you picked that was not for you? Confess. Okay? Confess right now. Or forever hold your peace. We are going back out of the studio to a very stinky area. And I really feel for Alan, who is reporting from a place that is not too salubrious. But a journalist has got to do what a journalist has got to do. So while we are in a very sweet-smelling studio, Alan is at a very stinking part of town. Good morning, Alan. Sweet morning to you, but I can't say the same for your environment.
Hi, good morning, Kafui, and thank you very much for coming to Interesting, but from one baller discussion to another baller environment. The first having to do with whether you found money that belongs to somebody or not. Indeed, coming to you this morning, we are at the Kole, or the front of the Kole Lagoon. So a few landmarks around me will be the Kolebu Hospital in this general direction. The Bukom Boxing Arena will be just across the street from where I'm standing. And then you have the Accra Sewage Treatment Plant next to or opposite from the Kole Lagoon, as well as the Bukom Boxing Arena. I'm here this morning to look at perhaps what could possibly be called Accra's water bodies version of the negative impact of human activities relative to Galamsey. Accra's version will be household waste, possibly filth and rubbish, which are brought into the water body by human beings. And as a result of human activities, this water over the years has lost aquatic life. And so, whereas in some years ago, my grandfather would tell me about Kolendi there, in which case would be tilapia from the water body. Unfortunately, today, we cannot talk about Kolendi there or tilapia from this lagoon. And if you are fortunate to have found tilapia in this lagoon or water body, I encourage you strongly not to ever talk about it or eat it. Because if you do, as toxic as this water body is, chances of you surviving will be very, very high. Very, very low. Indeed, some of the things you find along the stretch of the water body relative to human activities that has negative impact on the water body is, as you can see in your shots currently, there are some young men who live close to the water body who have found the bare land useful, i.e. bringing stuff they have collected from all over the place, plastic, scrap, and keeping them to resell. That has also encouraged those who live close to the water body to find a waste disposal point. And so they bring their household waste and anything else you can talk about and dispose them off at this waterfront. Sadly, just where we are, you have a waste receptacle referred to as skip. Is seated only away from where I'm coming to you. Use 20 pesos. That many is a disincentive, and so they would rather they come to the front of the river and get rid of their household waste. Some of the things we have seen. If my camera will pan slightly left to where our opening shot came from, you will find disposed of refrigerators as well as other household materials should have been properly disposed of at a recycling plant or a recycling center. In any case, not too far from where we are coming to you this morning, you have the e-waste center across the road near Agbogbolosin. It is really unfortunate to think that despite all of that having been built, people still find the water body a convenient place to dispose of their household waste. The island you see in the middle of the water body has sprung up as a result of years of leaving the water body to receive filth and household waste. I recall properly and vividly growing up around this neighborhood, how you have this water very, very clean, bare, and without this island. This island has sprung up here as a result of years of neglect, no dredging, and people pushing their household waste into it in an attempt to claim part of the land for building. And so you would find to our right, again, what looks like a shanty town springing up to our far right. And you can see some human activity also ongoing out there. I see two men under the trees. What they're doing, only they can. But because of that activity to reclaim part of the water, now a near shanty town springing up, and over the years or with time when it rains, we will have to come back to the same place and report of flooding in people's home. These structures are not supposed to be where they are. They are illegally sited, and they have been sited on a land that has been claimed off the water. And so if nothing is done about it, CAF, very, very soon, we will have a situation on our hands where this water body would completely vanish. Because remember, the whole of the middle part of it has been taken over by field, and therefore allowing this plant and bush to spring up in the middle of it really isn't the best. And the earlier something is done about it to allow this water a free flow into the ocean, we will have such situations as perennial flooding, which in itself is a direct result of human activity. Activities that can be controlled, activities that can be curtailed, regardless of how far and how deep it has gone. Indeed, we can also introduce sanctions so that people who will wantonly get rid of their household waste in this water body would be punished for doing so, because this affects the health of every one of us. As we're reporting to you, CAF, the stench in the air makes it particularly discomforting. And I can tell you, every one of my crew, especially my cameraman, is wearing a nose mask, yet he's complaining about the stench. Imagine me doing this report without the protection of a nose mask. Definitely, Ridge Hospital beckons. CAF, this has been Keep an Eye coming to you from the Korle Lagoon. As always, my name is Darrell Alantego, your chief laborer. Very pitiful stench in the air.
I wish you a sweeter day. Darrell, thank you so much for going above and beyond to bring us the report. It's filthy, and action has to be taken. It's just not good enough. This could have been a tourist attraction for people to hire canoes or gondolas or boats, just going up and down, taking pictures of beautiful scenery. There's a lot we can do. But thank you very much for bringing that report to us, Darrell Alantego. It's 7:49. You're watching GTV Breakfast, and we are looking at the news headlines. Any comments on the environmental issues that we saw there?
I think it's sad. Mm-hmm. It's sad. We kept having things like that, and the earlier we resolve these issues, the better. Mm-hmm. Because we have an environmental protection agency, we have the ministry responsible for environmental management. So we should not be seeing things like that. So the appropriate institutions must be up and doing as far as maintaining environmental sanity is concerned. Okay. It's not good at all.
Frimpong.
Oh, I think he said it.
He said it. Even thinking about it is not good for you. I'm diving into Ghanaian Times. National Cathedral will be built at all costs, President vows. So he made this statement on Saturday, reasserting his determination to build the National Cathedral. He said the National Cathedral project was something dear to his government, stressing that it will be built at all costs to the glory and honor of God. This is in today's Ghanaian Times. He made the statement when he joined the family and other mourners at Dr. Joseph Siao Ajapong's late father's Thanksgiving on Sunday, at the Pentecost International Worship Center, Graceland, Teshunungwa. He says, it will have to be built. We do know that as of now, the project has stalled, Mr. Frimpong. But the president is determined that this thing will be built at all costs. What's your view on that?
Yeah, he is the president of the republic. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, his party is going to be based on the work of the president and his appointees. And so if the president says that the National Cathedral will have to be built at all costs, at a time when he himself is lamenting that the Russian-Ukraine war has brought a lot of havoc upon Ghanaians, and then COVID-19 has brought havoc to Ghanaians. And we believe that it is a time for him to save money in order to remedy the situation he has been complaining about. Mm-hmm. If he says that the National Cathedral will have to be built, nobody can stop him, because I believe that so much has been said about it already. I believe on the negative side, the demerits completely outweigh the merits of it, especially so where the president is a trained lawyer and he knows that more or less the name of God is not even in the Constitution, more or less. When I say more or less, not anything substantial. The name of God is not a substantive part of our Constitution. The Constitution mentions the sovereign will of the people of Ghana that promulgates the Constitution, and not the will of God. And so therefore, if you believe in any religion of whatever sort, and by the grace of God, that religion, you have come to power as a president. Personally, you go and stand somewhere and thank that religion or the God. You do not do anything official, public, to make it look like it was one of your constitutional mandates. No, it's not part of his obligations to erect a national cathedral for the people of Ghana. And if he is still going ahead with it, then he makes people right when they say that the state needs a Christian edifice where in future, if homosexual, what do you call it? LGBT. Those things are permitted in the country, they will have a place to organize their rights and other activities. Otherwise, I believe it is not proper for the National Cathedral to be built, even from his own sources. It is not. That money could go into charity. And what is the charity I'm talking about? I'm talking about hospitals without beds. I'm talking about children learning under trees. There's something significant here. Maybe I should reserve it for 21st September. When Sergeant Dr. Kwame needed to build the Republic Hall of the University of Ghana, he depleted his personal
Hall?
No,
Republic Hall,
Republic Hall, KNUST, I'm very sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Republic Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He depleted his personal account and all gifts and presents given to him by other countries and heads of state, whatever, in order to make money to get that hall built. That is why it is the only hall among all the university halls in Ghana that bears the CPP symbol, the red cockerel. These are things I believe are great positive precedents for the president to follow, rather than making money and then putting it into the erection of something we know already. All the major churches in Ghana have got cathedrals, all of them. Ahimfia is being built, at the Kaneshi, Obechebi Lamte area. And then Ajinasari has got a cathedral, Ampiako has got one, Otabel has got one.
The argument
Duncan
is that
Williams
Ghana would like
one.
to have a national one.
We can't have it because in the case of the people I'm mentioning, they are sworn religious leaders. President Akufo-Addo is not a religious leader. And there is nowhere in the country, in the constitution that says that the president has the right to place one religion above the other. To build a national cathedral, as the name says, is to place Christianity above all other religions. And even within Christianity, it is only the Catholic Church that properly so-called has got a cathedral headed by a bishop. A church which is headed by a bishop is called a cathedral. So properly so-called is a Catholic. So are you saying that building this national cathedral is going to be for the Catholic Church, Presbyterian, SDA, or whatever? What are you talking about? And if it is not going to be for them, which priest in Ghana has been ordained by the Constitution to have the power to manage it?
Is it not supposed to be an interdenominational building?
That is why I am saying that in that case, we see some everywhere already.
Okay.
So, like, for example, we have got the Rich Church. Rich Church is interdenominational and non-denominational. Anybody can go to Rich Church. So maybe you can encourage those who worship there, very big people worship there, including the president himself, to put up a new edifice over there, but not something called a national cathedral.
So bottom line, you don't agree with
for
it.
the country.
Bottom
Personally,
line.
and I believe about 99% of the people of this country.
You have to do your survey. You give me show
No,
the survey findings.
nobody lies that. I don't think even his own party lies, except that as the chief executive, nobody can advise him beyond what he would take.
Thank you for your thoughts. Dr. Osae, is it affordable? Can we afford it?
Affordability will depend on the source of funding. And if anything is affordable, if you do the costing and you indicate the source of funding, and my understanding is that we have a trustee or a trustee group who are supposed to source funding to finance this national cathedral. I have visited a number of cathedrals across the world. In fact, I was in Morocco and I was amazed about the things they do there. But my colleague mentioned something about God and the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And permit me to read the preamble to the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. It states that in the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. So we start with in the name of God. What it means is that Ghana is a country that believes in God. It is not about religion. It's about God. So we put God first in everything.
Which God is this?
God. That is all. I mean, and we all worship or we all pray to one God, irrespective of the religion. I mean, we have all kinds of religions, but we have only one God. And the point I want to make here is that Ghanaian constitution acknowledges the fact that there is a God.
Are all citizens talking about the same God when they mention this God?
Well, that's my understanding. Whether you are a traditionalist, whether you are a Catholic, whether you are a Presbyterian, we all pray to Almighty God. And the Constitution says, in the name of the Almighty God.
Okay.
So God is the foundation of the Republic of Ghana. And I want to emphasize that. It's very important.
That was why I commenced by saying that the Constitution does not, in substance, have anything to do with God, apart from merely. Because whether you say it, you put it there or not, it will not affect the substance of the Constitution. And I don't think anybody has ever gone to court anywhere in Ghana where they have been said that you are breaking
the rule of God.
The rule of God as it is mentioned in the Constitution. That is why I said in substance I qualified it. That is it. But the will of the people is that is something that is enshrined
in the Constitution.
Okay, thank you for that. We're going to take your messages right now on 055-556-1034. I've just been to the National Cathedral Ghana.org website. Latest news, 21 hours ago, Dr. Stephen Nana Atuafa supports National Cathedral Ghana project on his 60th birthday with 24,000 CDs. So donations are still going through. You can go check it out. Redeemed Christian Church of God also is giving money. They also gave how much? 11,500 CDs towards the construction of the National Cathedral. That's September 1st. So to know what the running total is to date. Yeah, I think their website needs more information. We need to know this. There should be a counter,
that indicates how much
given so far.
And then even put through accountability, as and when you receive the money and you expend the money, put the account in there.
We should know.
It's important, so people must know what's happening.
Yes.
So that if ultimately we are not able to build it, we will just refund all the money
to the people.
Yes.
But that would be different.
Like the guy who has to refund the money to the owner, right? That's a different thing.
That would be difficult. I don't want us to start that discussion.
If the thing is not complete, what happens to the money?
No, but the money has been invested in the project, so you don't get your money back. You don't pay a transport fare and say you are going to test 7 when the car gets spoiled somewhere. They give me my money. You don't do that.
055-556-34. We're talking issues of cathedrals, money withdrawal, taking money that didn't belong to you. There's a whole range of issues, and I'm sure the messages will just show exactly what you've been thinking about. Thomas is here to read the messages for you. Remember, views expressed are your views, not our views. Take it away, Thomas.
Good morning, Kaf and the doc and lawyer. Thank you for joining us. Our WhatsApp number 055-556-1034. These are the messages on the board. So while some are in understanding of why Ghana is joining the celebration of the Queen's memory, others have a sharply divided opinion, and one of them is stating it here. Good morning, Kaf. Why are African leaders so much interested in the Queen's death? Why do they fly flags at half-mast? Is it not the same Queen that put us into slavery? African leaders must be wise, and let's honor our own. This is Akakpo Godwin who is speaking, with the Osagyefos photo prominently displayed on his personal profile. So those are his thoughts there. Lawyer Anokye, you are too much. More grace. I salute you this morning for that brief history. Please, any history book written by you, Raul says good morning.
Business law book.
A business law book, because he is a man of many sides. Good morning, Kaf. I tend to appreciate Lawyer Anokye a lot more for always adding to our knowledge base in history. I get refreshing for your Tuesday panelists because I'm confident that my intelligent quotient makes a further growth. God bless you, lawyers. And this is Frank Atta making that claim. We need leadership of great thinking to make Ghana a better place. However, let's change our attitudes as citizens. Abdullahi Abdurazak from Tamale. Breman made a very interesting observation earlier on. Good morning, Honorables. Thanks so much for the great history being told. I was privileged to meet the Queen and our then President Rawlings years back when my school got the nod to do a maple dance in Lawale's cluster of schools in honor of the Queen and the Prince. It's significant for me because I was also at Lawale's doing a maple dance for the Queen. So we
It's a maple dance.
It's a British. The history. It has British history, and so there's lots of strings on a certain pole, and there's many players. So there will be 12 or more people around the pole, everyone holding on to one end of the string, and then there's usually brass band music or live band music, and then they're playing some songs, and everybody's running around the poles, and we go around until the pole emerges. The ribbons will end up forming like a design around the pole. So it's really very beautiful. You see the bunch of people dancing around, going in and out in a certain coordinated way, and then the design just erects on the pole in some kind of wavy, like a basket weaving kind of thing, and it's beautiful. The British.
I hope they were teaching you Palongo to while they were teaching you maple dance.
Because if you are going to welcome the Queen, because of inclusivity, some were doing Adoa, some were doing Palongo, and then some were doing maple.
But never mind, Lawales is proud of you.
But I never went to Lawales.
But you danced.
We went there as Boys and Girls Brigade.
That's
and the brigade has British leanings. That's I'm sure Leanoche would know. Girls Brigade, we have history with Britain. So.
Okay, when you finish, you're going to record this video for me. I want to see this maple dance.
Maple dance. Let's Google it. You find it.
I'll compare it to Agbaja and Palongo.
No, nothing like Agbaja and Palongo. Much more energy in Agbaja and Palongo, which is my favorite. I mean, Palongo is the way to. I think Palongo is in the lead when it comes to energy. So Lawale's making a mention on the screen years ago, and this was in 1999. Good morning, Kaf. Is it the culture of the UK for the King Charles III to wear skirts? If yes, I love their culture, and therefore we Ghanaians must cherish our culture dearly and stop copying negative foreign ones. Babs sent us that from Osae. Nana is already talking about NDC and MPP, and I don't know. Someone is wishing someone a happy birthday. The president should reconsider his decision on the National Cathedral. Dennis from Edukrom, Equiapim. Those are the messages on our board. Back to you, Kaf.
Okay, thank you so much, Thelma. She'll be organizing a maple dance video for us. So watch for that.
No
Aisha Wang, who is now also called Huang En. She actually has a national Ghana card. You know, Aisha has a Ghana card, man. It's gonna be funny.
The foreigners version.
The foreigners version. Yes. So she's in the news. Galamsey is all over the place. Ghanaian Times, we will prosecute Aisha Wang and others, says the president, throwing his weight behind the Attorney General. This Aisha Wang saga is a disgrace to both Ghana and China. That's an editorial, a piece written by Cameron Dodu, veteran journalist. Grab today's Ghanaian Times, you will see it, page 8. So, prosecute Aisha Wang and co. President gives full support to Attorney General. So, there's a lot of talk about prosecuting this lady, who I believe was supposed to have been deported. How does it work? I mean, if they deport you, is there some time for which you should go and sit in the naughty corner for a while, and then when it expires, you can come back into the country? How is a deportee then coming back?
It's once you are deported, it will depend on the deportation order. The content of the deportation order indicate whether you can come back or not. In certain cases, you are deported until such a time that there is some level of agreement before you can come back. But on this occasion, I want to believe that she was deported. The basis on which she was deported suggests that she's not supposed to come back and continue with these illegal activities. So once you are deported, then you find your way back into the country. It means you have breached even the deportation rules, and under international law and domestic law, they would have to deal with you, let alone coming in to engage in additional illegal activities.
Immigration should be answering a lot of questions.
should be answering a lot of questions. But again, the fact that she was flashed out by our national security, which of course has an immigration person represented there, suggests that the system is working. But what we need to do is to work on our porous borders, because I have had the occasion of, looking at some of the borders, and I want to believe that if we have a government or a president that comes to power and say that my only project or one of my biggest projects will be to seal the borders of this country, I think it will help us. Because when you look at, I have seen the Menosu border. The Menosu border, KJB, Asatu, this area. The Menosu border is not the best. Uti Volta areas. It's not really the best. People can walk through, even though we have security there. So we have to look at our borders and then make sure that we are able to seal those places. But the fact that we have an intelligence system that will be able to flash these people out should be commendable. Except that while the president has thrown his weight behind the Attorney General to make sure that this lady is prosecuted, let us follow through the prosecution so that it will serve as a deterrent to all such foreigners who may want to return or who are already in this country to do all kinds of things. Let me also put it in context that people are saying she has a Ghana card. There are two versions of Ghana card.
Foreigners, right?
One Ghana card for Ghanaians and one card for foreigners, because we want to track and know how many foreigners are in this country and what they do and whether they are in this country for the right reasons. So if they said she has a Ghana card, she doesn't have a Ghana card that makes her a Ghanaian to be able to work in Ghana. She has a Ghana card because the law says if you're a foreigner, you need evidence that you are a foreigner and what you do here.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Mr. Frimpong, is it not obvious to the Attorney General that to be prosecuted? Does he need the president to tell him that he should prosecute the woman?
No, the president is
obvious.
The head of the executive, the father of the republic.
Yeah, but isn't it obvious that if somebody has been arrested for the wrong thing?
No, I believe it will depend on the nature of the case and the charge and the offense.
It's a sensitive. Yeah. Everybody is talking about.
No, but how is it sensitive?
International diplomacy.
International diplomacy to the fight against Galamsey.
She's not found guilty of anything. Why did they deport her the first time?
So that was what I was going to talk about. That for no apparent reason, or if I don't have to put it for no apparent reason, better, because the Attorney General has every right at any stage of prosecution to halt it.
Is that what you call the nollie
prosecution? He doesn't need to give any reason. But for the fact that this woman went and came back to do the same thing, I believe that the public is interested to know whatever reason the Attorney General had in fighting the nollie prosecution, because that was what encouraged the woman to come back, because she knew that in Ghana, if I returned and then continue to do the same thing I was doing, at the end of the day, I will be let scot-free. And I'm sure that is the reason why the president has come in to put his full weight behind the Attorney General. But the fact remains that the public will be very, very much interested in knowing the reason why the original case was completely halted. People will be interested in knowing that. Because we know that all that while and up to date, almost every Chinese caught doing Galamsey was and have always been prosecuted. So why that woman alone? And that is the reason why Ghanaians should be made to know why a nollie prosecutor was found in the case.
Is this not an open and shut case? If you are involved in illegal mining, and illegal mining is illegal, so you are contravening certain laws in Ghana. What is so hard about prosecuting this person and inflicting or prescribing the punishment for an offense? What's so hard about it?
I'm not sure they are saying it's hard. What I hear him saying is that we should be interested in knowing the reason why she returned and the deportation that accompanied her deportation. And I think that the law is required to be fair to all manner of persons. You are not supposed to draw hasty conclusions. Even though she was deported and found her way back, which is on its own, is illegal because it violated the immigration laws of this country. The fact that she was also caught engaging in illegal activities is double jeopardy. So I think that we should allow the case to take its normal course. The Attorney General would have to hasten the process because this is a matter of public interest. I'm happy the President has thrown his weight behind the Attorney General. I wish and hope that we will not see another knowledge protocol being entered in this particular case. So we see that we prosecute to conclusion, and this issue can be resolved. But if we don't put it at the back, at our back, we're going to come back to this issue time and again. And now we need money to develop this country. So such people like this, we just deal with them according to law, and then we move on.
Let me ask this question. How do excavators just disappear?
Excavators cannot disappear.
Yeah.
Excavators, machine this big machine, they can't disappear. Obviously, they are somewhere. And I always say that anytime they say excavators have disappeared, I found it strange because look, they are physical, they are places, and there are places that all of us know that they have sent certain excavators, and they are keeping them for safety. So excavators cannot disappear. Unless somebody is able to prove to me beyond reasonable doubt that excavators can disappear, which is not possible. I don't know the logic and the legal basis for that. So I think that all excavated are available, must be accounted for. They can indeed be accounted for, and they should show us where they are. My only challenge with the excavators when they seize them is the alternative use that we don't put them to. Because we have a lot of district assembly that needed them to desilt gutters. We have a lot of institutions that needed them. We have a lot of 48 engineers. They need it. If Bagre Dam, if they are constructing bridges, etc. So my point is that let us review our laws. Anytime we seize these excavators, quickly let us put it to another use. Let us use it to go and then if we have any feeder roads, let us go and then use it on feeder roads so people will be able to benefit. But if we ground it and we keep it somewhere in the name of law, we are going to court. By the time we finish with the case, the thing would have spoiled and we will not be able to use it. So let us put our seized excavators to an alternative use that will be as we pursue the other case in court.
Yeah,
I thank you for your comments, and I asked that question because it's all about this Elembele DCE who is clearing the air about missing excavators. So his name is Baini Kwesi, and he says he has stepped on toes, and so he was trying to ensure the security of these heavy-duty machines, and in an attempt to ensure justice, his approach has rattled the conduits of power. He has stepped on a couple of toes. So there were two excavators that just disappeared into thin air like magic. The police retrieved one of them en route to the Western Regional Police Command, 2nd day on Wednesday. And then they claimed there were no excavators in their custody. So there's just a whole mystery about these.
My brother, I believe in that case, you see, since it originated, the DCE has been given a forum to tell his side of the story. But the police that handcuffed him have not been given an opportunity to tell their side of the story. But you hear the DCE's version and you see that he was doing a very angelic work to protect the sanctity of the excavators.
Why angelic?
Angelic because he was doing a holy job, for the government, for himself, and for the area. But I believe that the police, sent to the area by the regional command when there is a district structure, district command, this time they bypass the district and went straight to look for the excavators would show something I wouldn't want to disclose. It could be that at the district level where the DCE operates, where the district police commander also operates, there could be something fishy, so that if they had a wink that there was a regional command coming, they would have found even one of the excavators. This is just my conjecture. Because the regional commander did it behind the DCE, when the DCE is actually the head of the district police.
That's where I was coming. You see,
security.
In our decentralized intelligence system, the DCE chairs the district security committee, which is the DISEC. And the district commander is a member of DISEC. So I think that for security and intelligence purposes, they thought that, look, these two are in the same boat.
Yes.
So let us rather move from the region and zoom into the whole thing and resolve the issue. So I think that was what happened. So but I agree with him. Police is not talking. They should come out and tell us what exactly the issues are. So it looks as if we are hearing from honorable.
It's the work of the journalists. You interview and give chance to the DCE to make his case, and Ghanaians are showing much sympathy to him. But the IGP that sent his people there and succeeded in retrieving the excavator from the thick of the forest, have not been given an opportunity to say anything. And I believe that in that case, you see, it weighs upon even the judiciary a lot, that the moment the man appears, all those in the gallery, the public will say, oh, but this man was doing a decent job. Why are you trying to prosecute him? At this time, when no prosecution has started, either the DCE is not giving a public hearing at all, or that if he is being given a say, then the police should also be allowed to tell the public what really happened, so that it does not become a one-sided.
But Cap, what prevents the police from putting out a statement?
Yeah, because they will always put out statements. Anything happens, a statement comes out.
But if you make a statement and it is not published, if you make a statement,
it's got to be published.
It has to be published. You can't make a private statement.
The police Twitter says it's active. Anytime they put something there,
maybe we should go and check that.
Maybe you check whether they put something. With my colleague, they should be speaking. They should tell Ghanaians something, so we'll be able to. Unless maybe they think the case is still under investigations, and for investigative purposes, they may want to remain silent for now until they conclude with the investigations into the matter.
And all this falls under the Galamsey fight. All of this.
The DCE was not arrested alone with an executive member of the
DISEC?
Of the MPP. And that is why the police should also be made to talk.
Well, if we are not going to be serious about this fight against Galamsey, our bodies are still going to be destroyed. We'll go to the Pra and the Ankobra, we'll scoop the water will be brown, and one day we'll be importing water from Cote d'Ivoire and other places. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm saying, and worse, when gold is found in the Volta, then the whole nation will be doomed.
Then we'll be doomed. You know that it should not happen. 3 more. Well, the latest post on the police's Twitter: 3 more Chinese, 6 Ghanaians arrested, 3 excavators and 3 weapons retrieved in police anti-Galamsey operations in the Western region. So they're arresting stuff. Police in the wee hours of the 8th September arrested 9 more suspects, retrieved 3 excavators, 3 pump action guns in another anti-Galamsey operation in the Western region. So that's there's a lot of Chinese chaps on their Twitter timeline. The thing is becoming a national security problem with all these Chinese chaps. And how sensitive is it? If you are a criminal, you're a criminal. If you are caught doing stuff that is criminal, what is the sensitivity about it?
But Kaf,
do we need money from China?
The fact that you were caught doing something criminal doesn't make you a criminal, unless you go through the criminal.
Lawyers are going to give him their stuff again.
So again, we shouldn't draw hasty conclusions.
Okay, all right. I guess that's why the police has blurred their faces.
That's right.
Let me read a couple of messages and then we'll wrap it up for today. So go to the screen. Okay. Good morning, BTV breakfast. More messages. It's sad the way our beaches are treated. Let everybody know that by the grace of God, the National Cathedral will be built. There should be a balance of power on the excavator issue. Is there any political undertone? I want to know, says Kwabena Kumasi. Rian, until Galamsey is treated like armed robbery, Galamsey will just be one of our highest security risks. I started Dr. Oduro with regards to putting the seized excavators to alternate use. We make a joke of these situations regarding seized equipment of such sizes vanishing into thin air. It's getting quite embarrassing, frankly. Good morning, CAF. This one issue, can this one issue happen to a Ghanaian in China? Whereas there will be a delay in law of conviction? No. So why these toddler gloves? Secondly, if we truly have a satellite watch, it will be easy tracking these excavators without headache. So we must stop listening to the bedtime stories and wake up BB from North K. Yeah, these excavators, I think they have trackers. So you can put a tracker on it.
No, so some of them do.
It should be a law that every must have a tracker. It's so simple.
Especially those belonging to the district assemblies and the state.
Put the tracker on them. That's it. Why must churches, etc., give attention to this reasoning by the president to build the cathedral? Aren't there other priorities facing this nation that have to be wisely attended to? Geez, Ghanaians, let's wise up. Dennis says, Ghanaians must know that Ghana itself is a church God made. So it is not a national cathedral. Every Ghanaian must know that God is everywhere watching us. So we're actually in church as we speak, according to Dennis. Thoughts are yours. Good morning, CAF. Once again, you doff your hat to the president for his resolve to build a national cathedral. It's the best thing that can happen to the nation in this critical time. For your information, the stone with the engraved instructions and the replica of the 10 Commandments, among others, is already with us and is going to be the destiny changer for the nation. Oh, really? We have the 10 Commandments. The one Moses, the second one, Moses broke the first one upon his anger. Is the second one here? Really? Wow, I didn't know that. When did the commandments land in Ghana? Well spoken, Mr. Frimpong. about the National Cathedral. God is not interested in the mere structure called a National Cathedral, but a heart of leadership without corruption. Ankuma Foster. These SIM card blockages. Let's see the telcos, how they will play their competitive games. Which of them will put their customers at the center of their activities? Okay, so you're still talking about SIM cards. Yeah, really important. Good morning, Kaf. Special greetings, disrespect for your learned panelists. This morning, I have one concern about the erecting of structures in public places by the folks from Niger who are involved in scrap dealing, becoming a menace. Second issue is about passports. When you do online application and your biometrics are captured and given dates for collection, you sometimes wait for months. It's sad. We'll speak to passports and get answers from them for you. Achikwesi. Ghana will be destroyed if we continue with this kind of leadership trying to waste public funds to build cathedrals. Dignity says, National Cathedral, Luke 14, 28 to 29. Let's hear the word of God. Suppose one of you wants to build a first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it. For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. Here ends the word. Thank you. Ata in Jorian. Good morning. National Cathedral will be built. All the Sambalats and Tobiases will never succeed. This is like a religious chook or some kutia. Who is the Tobias? And the Sambalat. It is better to use the national money to build a house for God than into the pocket of wicked politicians to buy personal properties and buying of houses and flashy cars for their girlfriends. I come in peace, though. You added a caveat. Yo, it's on to you. Bremer Designs. Girls Brigade. Okay, good morning. You met your people at for the Maple Dance with Thelma and all those people. Thank you so much. You have a lady next door who likes to make a lot of noise always. She plays music 24/7 and her TV too. I had to call the patrol team once on her, and yet she hasn't stopped. Please, can you help me get a contact to the right office for disciplinary measures? I called an office in the ministries and was asked to visit their website of EPA, where I was asked to send an email for a response. Till now, I'm tired of this lady. As I send it, she's still making noise. Wow, that's a terroristic neighbor. Good morning. I've been giving Excellency Kaf, Dr. Osae, Dr. Anokye.
I'm not doctor.
No, they've given us titles. We'll take them. We'll take them just for today. I must admit, I always love Tuesdays. I'm always glued to my TV set by virtue of the historical enlightenment. God bless you, Mama Thelma and H.E. Valerie. Everybody has a title today, man. Everybody. Membership of the Ghana Bar Association, congratulations to your panel for the just ended bar conference. Is this ended or is it still on?
It's not ended.
It's still on, oh, boss. It's still on. It's still on. Doc lawyer is going back. Please, do we give leftover to God or out of the small we have? When will the needs of Ghana finish? The churches that they are mentioning there, it's a case that all the church members are rich. They have no need to build church. Black Stars are going to the World Cup. All right. Thank you for your messages. Good morning. Dr. Osae says the cathedral is for all religions. How come no other persons from other faiths are on the cathedral board? Did you say that? Did you say the cathedral was for all religions or for all denominations?
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that. Please, don't put words into my learned panelist's mouth. The National Cathedral will surely be built as the president has vowed. Okay, nice. Good morning to you all. God, meaning God is general overall. Okay, thank you for that. Good morning, Kaf. I'm in agreement with the lawyer historian that funds for building the cathedral should go into charity by furnishing hospitals, schools, and the trees, etc. Okay, thank you very much. Good discussions this morning, says Eugene. I beg to differ from lawyer, who is always coming out as very controversial. The building is going to be of benefit for the nation, where stage functions could be held. Lawyer, do people call you controversial? Are you controversial?
All lawyers are controversial. I deem to be controversial.
You don't agree with them.
They are controversial.
And when a patient dies in his hands, it means not a good doctor.
Ibrahim is making a political prediction. He said, GTV, good morning. Whether he builds a cathedral or not, his party will not win the 2024 election. Ibrahim Abdul Nabi from East Legon doing some. Be careful, or Dampari will come after you. You think JDM should be circumspect with his needless attacks on the judicial service. Nobody's above the laws of the land. So whenever there's a ruling against some members of his party, he cannot run down the integrity of the Attorney General. It was a concern of the president. He says the judiciary should be cut some slack. Mr. Kaf, how many citizens know the law and constitution of Ghana until you get to court? So why doesn't the law being held as a TV or radio program each week to help citizens know the law? We should be teaching these things in school, civics and all that stuff.
It's NCCE.
And we've got to fund NCCE because they always complain about money. You know. Good morning, Kaf. Hope you're doing great. Silver from Circle. Thank you very much. You think the Ghana say fight And you think he should apologize to Ghanaians and call for immediate stakeholders meeting to include former leaders. Bolare Jr. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. The police are doing very well in their operations, especially in the border areas and around the hideouts of criminals. Please, all of us must help the police with information. Good morning. Good morning to you. Kaf, read my messages. Weeping seriously. Okay. Madam, I want to ask Madam Jemima, how long should we clean our ears? Good morning, lawyers. Thanks for the history. I think foreigners must have their Ghana card separately. They do. Kaf, read my messages. I've read it. Thank you. Good morning, BFS. The first major function of a leader is to listen. Per the austerity in this country now, whilst most of the citizens are even against the erecting of the National Cathedral, yet the president himself is saying it will be built at all costs. It's a pity that a president of a nation with such penury should be saying this. The source of funds is even a lie to us. Now, God is nowhere in the Constitution. It is in the Constitution. The first statement, it is read there. Okay, it's there. Two more. Good morning, Kaf. The president will build a National Cathedral, but we humbly assure him when the opposition comes to power, it will return into a poultry and pig farm. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen like that. Please, don't just type stuff like that, you know. Celebrating the death of the Queen means we love being slaves, and being part of the Commonwealth means we like the leash on our neck and we have to shake it off. Also, the government has to make sure to finish the cathedral before leaving office. All right. You sent it 3 times. I get the message. I've read it. I think we're probably done right now. Good morning. Judiciary should take steps to correct their mistakes in good faith, but not to attack persons. Okay, great. The cathedral building has started. Unfinished business, it cannot be. So those are our issues. Somebody just wanted to know quickly, the guy who mistakenly transferred the money into the other person's account, will he be held responsible?
Point mistakenly. No, he will not be
held responsible.
If he's able to prove that he did it unintentionally.
Okay, all right. Gentlemen, I wish you the very best. Dr. Eric Oduro Osae is the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. And Mr. Anokye Frimpong is our favorite historian and lawyer. They say all lawyers are controversial. I wish you a controversial week.
Thank you.
More to come on the show. You stay with us. Legal education in the USA and a lot more. Messages on 055 556 1034. Good morning. Welcome. Stay tuned.